Professor Jihan has revealed shocking breaking news that is changing the future of the entire world. We are not just witnessing a war, we are witnessing the beginning of a global economic crisis driven by energy collapse. The ongoing conflict in the Middle East has triggered what experts are calling the largest disruption in the global oil market in history, and the consequences are already spreading across continents. This is not just about geopolitics anymore. This is about survival of economies. The most critical point of this crisis is the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which nearly 20% of the world's oil supply normally flows. Today, that lifeline is under severe disruption. Tankers are blocked, supply chains are breaking, and oil exports have dropped dramatically. According to global analysts, this single disruption has already sent shockwaves across energy markets, pushing oil prices above $100 and creating fear of even higher spikes in the coming weeks. Professor Jihan explains that when energy stops flowing, everything else starts collapsing: industries, transportation, food systems, and entire economies. The impact is already visible in Asia, where several countries are facing fuel shortages, rising costs, and operational shutdowns. In some regions, fuel rationing has begun, flights are being canceled, and factories are slowing down production. This is just the beginning. Professor Jihan warns that what we are seeing today is similar to the early stages of the COVID-19 crisis, slow at first, but devastating over time. The global economy is deeply dependent on cheap and stable energy, and once that foundation is shaken, the entire system becomes unstable. The International Monetary Fund has issued a serious warning. This conflict could lead to higher inflation, slower growth, and economic instability worldwide. Rising oil and gas prices are increasing the cost of everything from transportation to food production. Fertilizer prices are also rising, which directly impacts agriculture and food supply. This means the crisis is not limited to energy. It is expanding into a full-scale economic shock that could affect billions of people. Professor Jihan highlights another dangerous dimension of this crisis: global debt. Many countries are already struggling with high debt levels, and now they are facing rising energy costs at the worst possible time. Governments may not have enough financial power to protect their economies from this shock. This creates a perfect storm where inflation rises, growth slows, and financial systems become fragile. Meanwhile, major global powers are reacting differently. Energy-rich countries may benefit in the short term, but most economies are under pressure. China, one of the world's largest energy importers, is especially vulnerable. Its manufacturing sector depends heavily on stable energy supplies, and disruptions could slow down production and exports. Europe is also facing serious challenges, with rising energy costs affecting industries and households. Even the United States, despite being energy-rich, is not completely immune. Rising prices and market instability are creating economic uncertainty. Another shocking development is how this war is reshaping global trade routes. Supply chains that once depended on smooth energy flow are now being forced to adapt or collapse. Shipping delays, increased costs, and uncertainty are becoming the new normal. Professor Jihan explains that this is not just a temporary disruption. This could be the beginning of a long-term restructuring of the global economy. The most alarming question now is, how far can this crisis go? Some experts believe oil prices could reach extreme levels if the conflict continues, leading to a massive inflation shock. Others suggest that if the situation stabilizes, markets could recover. But the uncertainty itself is enough to shake global confidence. Investors are already reacting. Markets are fluctuating and businesses are becoming cautious. Professor Jihan concludes with a powerful warning. The world is entering a new era where energy security will define economic power. Countries that can secure their own energy, food, and supply chains will survive and grow, while those dependent on global systems may struggle. This is not just another crisis. This is a turning point in history. The reality is clear. The global economy is being tested like never before. The question is no longer whether this crisis will impact the world. It already has. The real question is how deep and how long this impact will be. As Professor Jihan explains, we are witnessing the early stages of a transformation that could redefine the future of global power, trade, and survival itself.